Holy cow, it's hot and humid. I want a beer. I want another beer. This one's already hot. All right, so I am working on Willwood brake pedal. Walk around here. Got my little adapter plate kind of mounted up. I got some more fiddling and whatnot to do. But I was sitting here thinking about, I'm in the interior, I might as well work on the steering column too. And because I'm an idiot, yes, I'm an idiot, I'm just making this up as I go along. I was like, how? Because I always thought steering columns, you know, this is just naivety on my part. They just kind of hung there with a little bracket similar to this little hanger piece here. But as you can see, that is not really a good structural spot. Not only that, it collides with the dash, yada, yada, yada. But it's also not even a Ford steering column. This is a GM steering column. And I can't even return it now because I have scratched the ever-loving crap out of it. But I'm still going to use it. For the most part, let's see if I can set this up to open the door. I still love the way the doors open and close in this truck. They still sound nice. I'm going to have to find my little tripod, set it up. I'm going to pull the dash out and I'll bring you back. Okay, so to begin, this is the steering column that came out of the truck. This is the pedal box. And the reason why I call it a pedal box is because your clutch and brake pedal are attached to it. As you can see, you got a special plate mounted to the steering column, and it mounts to the pedal box. And that little place where I was trying to mount, actually just easier to walk over here and show you. This right here, this little tab right here, is where you fasten it to here. These holes back here are where the where it mounts to the firewall for the brake assembly, because you can see the dog for the brake right there. So that's how it's supposed to go. And of course, because I'm heavily modifying something that probably didn't need it in the first place, I was like, how in the world am I doing this? I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong, because I started hanging this right there. Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, then I realized it's not working out for me. So, and this is for mock-up purposes only. For the time being, I am going to change materials. But here's my brake pedal, already kind of temporarily mounted in place. I got some more fab work I got to do on the adapter plate on the outside. But I got a piece of flat bar up here, again, just for mock-up purposes. I'm actually going to use this U-channel right here. Use some of this that I was going to use for the mid-plate mounts where they tie into the frame. But I got 3 foot of this, so hopefully I have enough to do what I need to do. Anyway, it's going to run across because there are provisions, threaded holes here on the top of this pedal assembly. 5/16, 18, I think, standard 5/16 hardware. But I could drill a couple holes in the U-channel, fasten it to here, and then drill a couple more holes down here, so that way it actually will help support the steering column. And I still got to figure out the rest with the boot and everything, my in and out. But for the most part, that gives me a good idea of how I need to mount it, instead of relying on just this little flimsy tab and drop hanger right there. But I believe that is a step in the correct direction. And even though it's not an exact, it also emulates kind of how the steering column is mounted in the first place. So I got some more mocking up, cutting, and drilling to do, but that's where we're at on that. All right, here we go. Steering column is kind of in place. I got some of the trim back up for the dash just to check for clearance issues. And it looks like I got a little bit of modifying to do there. But, let's see if I can get up underneath here and look at it. There is the top of the brake pedal assembly. I got screws or bolts coming in from the top side going into the provided threaded holes. And then I drilled and slotted a couple of holes for the hanger, steering column hanger to go into. And it's still not quite a great fit. Looks like it still floats a little bit too high up in the provided opening, but I might be able to figure something out on that a little bit later. But for right now, it seems to be going okay. And when I sit in the seat and kind of mimic where my hand's going to go, this collar here is going to have to come out, and we'll have to get a recessed steering wheel, so that way I don't feel like my elbows are in my chest whenever I get up there and do that stuff. But yeah, for one day's worth of work, actually probably about half a day, I actually finally figured out a problem that was bugging me. And I still didn't finish the initial thing that I started on, but I think that's good enough for today. You can see the aluminum through those old bolt holes, but also waiting on a riv nut tool to show up so that way I can actually attach this aluminum plate to the firewall rather than just relying on the studs off the brake pedal that join it to the master cylinder. Dispersion of force. Got some trimming to do on that plate too, but for the most part, all that looks kind of okay.
According to our investigators, according to our investigators, according to our investigators, according to our investigators,
I added a little extension there, welded the extension, drilled some holes, and then mounted the hanger, and now it's actually closer this way than compared to where it was before, which gives me a better angle on the steering column, because earlier it felt like the steering column was angled at my left shoulder when I was sitting in here, and it just didn't feel right, so I had to shift things over and get the pitch right. But let's see if I can zoom you in here. You can see the back side of those riv nuts that I forgot to film me putting in. You can see the studs already mounted to that pedal bracket there. So let's come out. Master cylinder is in place. My piece of aluminum adapter plate, just so that way I can get better surface area for where that brake pedal actually mounts to. The riv nuts through there, basically the riv nuts are holding the plate in place, and then the brake pedal installs to the plate holding the master cylinder in place. And right now this is just a working concept. We'll see how it goes from there in real life testing, but right now that is kind of how I want it to look. If I have to reposition things, I will, because Lord knows I've done it 6,000 times already. But basically for the next step, I'm going to be ordering brake line, so that way I can start running my brake lines to the front. Go ahead and get those calipers hooked up. I got my fancy wheel woods already in the back. Well, sans calipers, because I got to put the calipers in. Yeah, you can see where they're supposed to mount right in there somewhere. Yeah. But right now it's all coming together. Steering column from Summit, GM style pattern. Very cheap aftermarket, or reasonably priced aftermarket. Had the steering hub in here that had the 9-bolt pattern, which I will show you over here. This one. This is the one that came with the steering column. Big bolt pattern for steering wheel. And it's, I don't have my pocket scale on me. Let's see. Apparently I was measuring something pretty big. Try to put my phone in my armpit so that way I can show y'all what's going on. And this has, over here, then is 2, 3, 70. 2 inches, 370 thickness there. This is 2 inch. So I save a little over 1/4 of an inch thickness in this adapter, getting it lined up right here for my new steering wheel, which I will show you momentarily. Golly, I had to get this out of the car while it's been 90 freaking degrees. That thing's hot. All right, let's set you up so that way you can see what I'm doing. Tilts up. Get in the driver position. Gas pedal is going to move over here, so that way I can get a little bit closer there. Yeah, after sitting in this for a little bit with the bench seat, I still think I want to go racing seats in it. But we'll see how that turns out. Something like that. Normally a sane person would save something like that for last, but I'm kind of all over the place. I still got to get my steering column completely mounted in place, but we'll get there. Okay, back in the interior, back on the brakes. Honestly, this would be a lot easier if I didn't have my dash in place, but I need my dash in place to do some mock-up work, so... got the universal master cylinder kit, master cylinder pushrod kit from Willwood. Pushrod, universal, master cylinder. Yeah. And all I needed was basically 3 pieces out of the entire kit, which is the initial pushrod itself, that little, it's not a turnbuckle, but extended nut, so that way you can do some, and let's see, it's back over here. Yeah, this piece of thread right here. Focus. There we go. So, but looking at it, I only need that much of that. Well, actually, probably about that much, so that way it threads into the clevis and threads into that little extended nut. So just trying to get in here, go back and forth, and see if you can see it past the steering wheel. There's driver foot, brake foot. I gotta lift this up way up high for that to actually be effective. So that makes me think I got the wrong length pedal. But if I get a longer length pedal, that means I'm gonna have more brake pressure than what I absolutely need, but trying to modify things by the seat of my pants ain't quite working right. I mean, I can almost throw my foot up there and grab it. Almost. I am going to relocate the gas pedal to like an offset little thing over here. It's going to look something similar to that Dugama Fletchy right there. But yeah, back to work on this. Zoom out. I also got to secure the base of the steering column, and then I'm going to pull some measurements, and I may actually go to Arlington, or actually I think there's a speed shop maybe closer than Summit, but I'm going to find some D-shaft and a couple of unions so that I can go ahead and get this hooked up to my steering rack, get a baseline alignment done, and to further secure this assembly in place, and then go from there. And we have pedalage. Move, light, see, down, up, down, up. Got 9 miles of travel. I took that little pedal extension or pedal face bracket off for the time being. Let's move this out of the way. Somewhere. Dang it. But yeah, gas pedal's gonna hang out right here. Brake pedal be over here. If I have to, I might build an offset just so that way mine for street driving, and then actually now that that's secured, it actually feels better than when I was just trying to float it in space and try to figure out where everything was supposed to go. That pedal has to go. But that makes me happy. I need to stop doing that before I ruin the seals on that master cylinder. Well, anyway, like, comment, subscribe, Share with your friends. If you think I'm doing something wrong, let me know. If you think I'm doing something right, let me know. Could really use your help building this channel. Anyway, have a good one. See you next time.